There was for many years, there have been a clamor for airport charter that brings together all the players at the airport. The problem is that the Ministry of Transport and the KA take a beating for sometimes things that are done by the immigration officer or the tax officer, the KRA officer at the airport. Now, for us to take that responsibility fully, we need to implement the airport charter. And the draft airport charter is supposed to be presented to us by 30th this month. Thereafter, I'll sit down with my colleague, Professor Kindiki, because he's one of the main contributors there, and Professor Ndungu with KRA, immigration, and police in the area, and see how best are we going to allow KAMD to provide leadership under the airport charter, the way it happens in other airports in the world, so that you can aggregate the decisions you are going to make and have a proper channel of decision making, so that then you lay the blame where it belongs. At the moment, it is scattered to this is police, this is immigration, this is KRA, this is KA. We want to make sure that the airport itself, as the landlord and the main owner of the airport, KA, should take full responsibility when the charter is being followed. And that is not new, because at KPA, the MD of KPA takes responsibility on behalf of other agencies, because we have a port charter that gives that direction. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, CS. Senator Wambua, and please be very brief. Straight to the question.
I will be straight to the question, and I wanted to stand here so I can see the CS properly. These days you don't get to see a lot of them. Mr. Speaker, my question is on the Kibwezi, Athi, Mutomo, Kitui, Migwani, Bondoni Road. And this, yes, my friend, sat with me in the Roads Committee in the last session. He understands that road very well. The Speaker, he is being economical with the truth. The Speaker, when he read the list of the inherited problems from the former administration, he included that road in that list. The truth of the matter is that the problem that we have today on that road is a problem of the Kenya Kwanza administration, because the contractor moved out of sight in November after the elections. My question to the Speaker is, when is the contractor resuming work on that road, having done more than 190 kilometers and remaining with only around 17, 20 kilometers to complete the road, and the contractor has moved out of sight? When is the contractor going to be resuming work? The other difficult questions will be asked next Wednesday. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mundingi, very quickly, please.
Asante Bwana Speaker, swali langu ni kuwa Embu County huwa tunalima miraa, muhoka, avocado na kahawa na majani, na tumekubali kulima kabisa. Nauliza Bwana Waziri, unafikiria namna gani juu ya kutujengea uwanja wa ndege? Kwa sababu hiyo uwanja wa ndege si itasaidia Embu peke yake, itasaidia Tharaka Nithi, itasaidia Kirinyaga, na pia itasaidia upande wa Meru. Kwa hiyo swali langu, utatuangalia namna gani ndio tujengee, pia hata sisi tunajivunia kukula matunda ya Kenya Kwanza kwa hii kipindi ya miaka 5. Kwa sababu unajua pale kuna uwanja wa ndege ambaye haitumiki. Tunataka kujua kama serikali ya Kenya Kwanza haina pesa, kama mnaweza kuturuhusu tutumie hiyo uwanja, kwa sababu magari mingi ya miraa inatembea na imekuwa na shinda kwa sababu ya kuwa watu. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Asante. Can we take another question from Senator Kavindu?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you, Mr. CS, for coming. My question is about this road from Caltex, Kangundo Road, and I hope he's paying attention. There is a lot of traffic jam on Kangundo Road, and most of my people from Kangundo live in Kangundo and work in Nairobi. And once they live in Nairobi at 5 o'clock, most of them arrive at home at midnight. because of traffic jam. So I'm wondering if what they are doing to finish that road, and if it can also be made to be dual, all the way from Caltex to Tala and Kangundo. Mr. CS, I also want to know the state of the road from Tala, Thika Road. And when you are counting the roads that are pending, I didn't hear you mention that road. And it was started from 2017, and it is still not finished. We need that road to be finished. If you can give me the timeline. And also I want to know about Tala.
Senator, those are too many questions.
Yeah, no, just one. Let me finish, Mr. Speaker, because you have given me the time. We are not going to call him again here tomorrow. Let me just finish. I have one. I also want to know the state of Kangundo Mwala Road, which has been just the way it is from the time of colonial to date.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. Those are enough questions. Senator Tabitha, very quickly, one question. Senator, very quickly, or should we get the answers?
No, they were not giving me the mic. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Waziri, I really want to congratulate you and appreciate the great work that you are doing. Do not be intimidated by some of the negative sentiments. I just want to ask a very simple question as a Nairobi delegate. International Airport, JKIA, we saw what had been happening. We just want you to tell us what are the plans in terms of the repairs, what are the timelines, if you've formed a committee, what is the strategy and the time that is required. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You're welcome, but that question was addressed. CS, please, very briefly.
First, Mr. Speaker, Senator Kyo, I don't know where he was here. Oh, sorry. Okay, you are still on your seat. Thank you, leader. I didn't mention that road, but now that he mentioned, I think he's the one who is economical with the truth. I didn't use that as an example, but it's a good example of one of the roads that I've stalled for many years. That road was awarded in 2018. It was supposed to end in 2021. Mr. Speaker, 2021 is not Kenya Kwanza administration. But, Mr. Speaker, the good news is that the road is 91% done, and therefore the remaining balance is going to be addressed. Unlike many roads that I mentioned earlier, I used as example, which have only 3%, 5%, less than 30% of completion, at least Kibwezi Road is fairly done. What I was expecting from Senator Wambua is the question of compensation. I used that road earlier as an example of citizens who are responsible, who let go the space for us to construct the road awaiting compensation. And as I said, National Land Commission is working on the process so that we can be able to compensate and know exactly whom we compensate. As unfortunately, these procedures we put in our law make it, create inordinate delay in some of these issues. The Tala Thika Road, I think it was a proposal. It hadn't started. If you mean the road of what we call the Greater Eastern Bypass, the one from Tala all the way to Thika. Mr. Speaker, that road, we signed a memo with memorandum with some Chinese contractor as to working together to get resources to make sure that we create Greater Eastern Bypass, which comes from Tala all the way to Thika itself. On the question of Kangundo Mwala Road, yes, it's been pending for long. I know you have asked me this before, and the MPs have asked me before. Again, because we have to award it as a new contract, we just need to be patient, a little bit patient, to make sure that we get the resources to be able to do so. Last is Senator Mundigi has asked the question of the airport. I'm sure you are with me. We sat together with you and all the counties. The Embu airstrip is not viable for an airport that can carry goods or fly cargo from Embu. You know that there's no land to extend. You have lived around all place. The topography does not allow the same. The good news is that Embu itself is closer to JKIA. And I think that is not biggest of our challenges. The biggest of our challenges is to make sure that we have either road or rail connectivity that can now bring the goods to rail. By the way, Senator Mundiki, just to mention the House, the world is moving away from using aeroplanes to carry cargo. And now we are, even for perishable goods, we are working on providing what's called cool logistics, so that cool containers are provided for transporting perishable goods, including flowers, by sea, which is now under customer preference in Europe. It is the in thing as one way of combating climate change. So the question should be focused on how do you evacuate the goods from last mile to the connectivity to either the railway or the airport without necessarily having to build an airport where you cannot be able to build an airport. The last thing is on the JKIA, I want to repeat this from Senator Tabitha, that the grand plans is to build a new terminal. And that is my focus. I am very, very clear in my mind. I'm very focused that in the next 3 years, we need to deliver brand new airport. That will be a signature project for this administration to turn around. We can't have built an airport that is older than myself in 1978. I want to be a partaker of President William Ruto's administration's grand plan to give us something new, fresh, that I am very confident and clear in my mind that by the year 2026, 2027, we should be singing of a new airport. That's why I worked very hard with our team and guided by the President to make sure that we resolve the case that was there in the Greenfield to create the space for us to attract the PPP contractor to do this job. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, CS. Honorable Senators, at this point, we will not take any, because of time, and the previous speaker had mentioned that the last question will go to the Chair of Transport. So at this point, since we have to complete with this session of questions, I will allow on this side Senator Mazzayo to ask a question, and then the Senator Chair Transport to finish with the last question. We don't have any time. I extended, Senators, I extended by another half hour, but the problem we are having, Senators, is that questions are taking too long to ask. Senators are taking too long to answer. So, Senator Mazzayo. Yes, Senator Kavindo.
And the reason why he didn't answer, I know he didn't hear it properly because he was communicating with his people when I was asking about the Caltex Umoja Kangundo Road. This Kangundo Road, there is a lot of jam there, and people are getting stuck there up to midnight.
He will answer with the other questions. Senator Mazzayo, very quickly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have one question for the CS. When is the Malindi Airport going to be expanded? That's the question.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. Chair Transport, Cherargei, you cannot have a point of order on the chair. There's no point of order on the chair. A lot of people have been sitting here from 9. Senator Cherargei, I understand your frustration. Chair Transport, let him ask the question, then we'll come back to you. We will come back to you, Senator Cherargei. We'll come back to you. We'll come back.
Senator Mr. Speaker, I believe if I'm given the opportunity, then Senator Cherargei.
Approach the chair. Cherargei, approach the chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, did I hear the CS say that Embu is close to JKIA? I think that was... Anyway, Mr. Speaker, if you look at those people who ask questions, and as the chairman roads, transportation, and housing, I have noted that almost every member of my committee asked a question. And that is to tell probably the department and my committee there is a little bit of disconnect. But, Mr. Speaker, the remedy for that, the committee understand that the CS is a busy person. So the committee made a resolution, Mr. Speaker, that before we invite the CS, we'll be inviting his government agencies, the KERA, the KURA, the KENHA. Yesterday we had NTSA, so that once we understand what they're doing, we'll be able now to be going to the CS himself. Mr. Speaker, it is my commitment as the Chairman, Roads and Transportation, before I ask my question, that I will follow up on everything that has been said here today, Mr. Speaker.
And Senator, please be very brief.
Yes.
Go straight to the question.
As the Chair, give me a few minutes. Everything that has been mentioned here today, the Kakamega airports, the roads in Kirinyaga, Tharaka-Nithi, roads in Kajiado, roads in Kiambu. The reason I don't have so many questions is because we meet with the CS more often. And Mr. Speaker, Jomo Kenyatta Airport, the El Nino issues, and Narok. My question now, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's about compensation. The people of Wangige, the people of Getaru, the people of Kabete constituency, since 2018, they have not been compensated when they gave their land for the construction of the Western Bypass. We have been trespassing on people's land. So, Mr. Speaker, I would want the CS to tell us when they are going to be paid, and I also propose when they are paid, they should be paid in the current market rate, not the one that was evaluated in 2018. So, Waziri, you can respond to that. Mr. Speaker, I'm done. Or I can continue. Mr. Speaker,
Senator, please, you've already asked your question. Can we have the CS answer?
Mr. Speaker, on the Kangundo Road, I understood. Thank you, Senator Agnes. The Kangundo Road requires dualling. I understand what you meant. The congestion in Kangundo Road is making it impossible for those of you who operate from Machakos to come to work. Mr. Speaker, that discussion is ongoing on dualling that road. It requires significant resources, but we are now at the design stage. Hopefully that design will lead to the proper construction. Number two, Mr. Speaker, is that on the Malindi Airport, you know the question, leader, you know the question of the squatters that we are dealing with. That negotiation is ongoing to see how the squatters can be compensated before that can be sorted out.
Let the questions be answered first. Let the CS answer the question. Is in the process. Let the CS answer. One moment, CS. What is, you cannot raise point of order. Let him finish the question, then you can rise.
Mr. Speaker, on the question of Tala Oldonya Sabuk Road, it's an ongoing contract, Mr. Speaker, that connects Tala to Thika Road. It is 40% complete. This connects Majakos to the Karisa Road, and it was awarded in 2020 for a contract sum of 1.4.
Yes, one moment, please. Cherargei, at this point, I will have to find you out of order. And I'm not trying. This is not a funeral. Okay. Senator Cherargei, I've actually shown you the dashboard.
Why don't you give him?
So, Senator Cherargei, at this point, I will have to ask you to leave the House. Please leave the House. Please leave the House so that we can continue with the business. Senator Cherargei, we've heard you. Please leave the House. CS, my apology, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, I left this House maintaining very high level of dignity. And I think that should be kept because we really trust and treasure you as a leadership. And we appreciate your work you're doing. Mr. Speaker, so I was answering, I know there is my colleague, Senator C.S. Ababu, and I've taken so much of the time, Mr. Speaker. On the road of Garissa, I said that the Tala Oldanyasabuk road is ongoing. It's 40%. It suffers the same fate with other roads in the country. 40% of the road is complete. It has a pending bill. It was awarded in 2020. We are working also together to make sure that that is completed. I think, Mr. Speaker, I don't have any other. On the question of my chair, the chair of the committee, Senator Karungo, you should be helping me to make sure that people don't exaggerate the compensation they need. It's just to become prompt and adequate so that we don't have problems where projects are pending forever. We should borrow from the example of Senator Wambua and a few places in the Mau Mau routes where people allowed us to complete the road as we work on the compensation, which I think it includes the road you are talking about. We will make sure that we compensate the citizens because we are enjoying the benefit of the road that is herein constructed. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Bwana CS. At this point, we have concluded the question time. CS, I want to thank you for your time and for the answers that you've given to the House, and to wish you all the best in your work. I think I will not add too much on that. We wish you were still in this House, but we also are happy where you are right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bwana CS.
Thank you, sir. I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, visiting delegation of lecturers and students from the Masai Mara University in Narok County. The delegation is in the Senate for a one-day academic exposure. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Thank you. Senator Narok, I thought he was here to welcome them. But Majority Whip, would you be as kind to welcome the delegation?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it gives me a lot of pleasure to receive, through my remarks, the delegation from the University of Narok. Only a few years ago, Mr. Speaker, we could only talk about the University of Nairobi. The exponential expansion in higher education in this country is evident of the fact that we are ready for Kenya of the next century. I would like to encourage the students and lecturers to work with us because we are clear that it's not enough for us to get university education. We must only see the value on that education by making sure that at the end of the training, our children are placed in places of employment. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Welcome.
Thank you. Honorable Senators, we have received communication from the CS Treasury that is engaged and not able to attend today. And the questions to the CS Treasury planning will be deferred to next week, Wednesday. CS Sports is here. So we are going to defer question number 67 and question number 74. We'll go straight to question question 73. CS Youth Affairs and Sports, welcome to the Senate. Thank you very much for attending. Can we have question number 70 by Senator William Kisang, please?
Good. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to put my 3 questions. Ford, the CS was in my county recently. He attended the 10 International Marathon, and we ran the 5-kilometer race together. And I won, he became number 2. Honorable Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary state the number of sports training camps in the country, and Elgeyo Marakwet County in particular, and indicate whether they are duly registered and licensed? How many foreign athletes are currently training in the said camps? Could the Cabinet Secretary clarify whether the foreign athletes are registered and indicate the type of visas they have? Number D, Honorable Speaker, what is the government doing to facilitate knowledge exchange between the local and foreign athletes using Kenyan training camps and to ensure that local talent is not overshadowed? Honorable Speaker, thank you.
CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for affording us this opportunity to share with the Honorable House on the issues that have been raised before us. And for purposes of the record, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Senator William Kisang, yes, raced with me for the 5-kilometer distance.